Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show today. I am really excited to jump in here because our guest today, Al Legall, is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. And he has so much amazing information that he's going to share with us today that if you are a business owner and you do anything with computers, IT, technology, like this is the guy that you need to talk to. So, Al, give us a quick, just 60 seconds. Tell us a little bit about you, your business, and what you do.
Well, my name is Alvion Legall. I am the president and CEO of ABL Computers. We provide managed service protection and more focusing on cybersecurity for businesses. We specialize in financial firms and so forth because there are many compliance and regulations in that arena. I have been doing this for over 21 years and I have watched my business grow and change over the years through with the differences in technology and so forth. So it's a wonderful journey, and I'm still happy to be here and still happy to continue that journey.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so Al, you've been in business a long time, and there are people who are listening who are starting up, people who have been in business a long time. What would you say has been one of your best business lessons learned?
Best business lessons learned. Well, a my business or any business, it's always wonderful when you're now starting out and you're trying to grow your business. So one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that when it comes to marketing is like a big 18-wheel semi truck that once you're trying to move it with flat tires and you know how hard it is. So I've learned that once you get marketing moving, don't stop. Once you get that semi moving, don't stop pushing it because it's just going to get easier and easier. So that's one of the biggest lessons that I have learned over the years.
Oh, I love this so much, and I'm so glad you're sharing it because when I had my software company, and even now, and I coach, people on this as well, it's like what happens in our business is like we're desperate. We don't have clients, we don't have people, and so we put all this work into like building the pipeline. And then we get busy. And so we literally take our foot off the gas pedal of that pipeline. And if your pipeline is, 6 months turnaround time, a year turnaround time, like that time can fly when you're really, really busy. And I'm always saying, like, guys, you got to keep your gas pedal pressed on the pipeline, even when you're busy, because then 6 months, a year down the road comes by, and then you're just like, rut row, now I'm back to not having anybody. But I super love your analogy, Al, of it's like a semi truck with flat tires.
Yes, yes.
That's so great.
Yeah.
That's so great. And it's so, so true. So wonderful. Now, Al, you are like the IT guru, all this tech stuff. And I got to tell you, with like, you hear about these huge companies getting hacked. You hear about data, people stealing, the credit card data, and, things going down, viruses, hackers. I'm sure if you're listening to this show right now, you've probably gotten one of these emails that says, I've got all your information. I know what you're doing, which, when I get one of those emails, I'm like, they say I'm doing things I shouldn't be doing. I'm like, I know I'm actually not doing those. So it's like,
Yeah.
you don't. You don't have my information. But if you are doing some of those naughty things that you shouldn't be doing and you get one of those emails, you might be like, uh-oh, maybe they really can see my information. So, as small business owners, let's just kind of maybe like, let's just start with maybe like the whole getting hacked thing. What do business owners need to do to protect their data, to protect themselves from hackers these days? And maybe even like, are these hackers like for real? Are they legit? Are they really out there? Are they really after our data? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts on that, it's sometimes when it comes to cybersecurity, one of the biggest misconception that a lot of business owners have is that they think that cybersecurity is a IT thing. It's really and truly not. They think it's, oh, I have a antivirus protection in, or I have a firewall in, so I'm protected. But when you look at IT, when you look at cybersecurity, pardon me, cybersecurity, it's all about people, a process, and technology. The When I say process, I mean you really have to look at internal tasks that your company takes. For example, a simple task is when you're giving out an account number or anything like that, don't give the last four. The process is call the office to get the last four of the account number. Just simple processes that you could put in place. Then there are people. You mentioned emails, that people get these emails and they think that they probably have access to this data. Sometimes when you train the people, train your staff, you make an investment in your staff and train them properly. That's another step in helping alleviate any data breach or anything like that. And last but not least is the technology. Some arenas, some industries have governance and laws in place to protect their someone's personal identified information, which is called PII. So we have to look at those rules and regulations that the federal government put in place for that. So, in essence, in a nutshell, for any business owner or anything like that, or anyone, any individual, if you get something, I always say stop and think. A lot of these breaches make people think that it's a last minute, it has to be done right away. If you just stop and think for a second, you'll realize that it is a hoax. So that's my best advice I could give to anyone. But as a business owner, make sure as a business owner, you must be involved in the cybersecurity processes at your office to protect your firm. You must be invested in it.
Yeah. And as a business owner, when do you know, like, when is the right time to have an IT guy like you, managing the computers? And actually, why don't we take a step back? Why don't you just, for everybody, just so we're all on the same page, share a little bit about, what do you actually do? Because some of these people are just like, I don't know, do I need an IT guy? Do I not need an IT guy? So just talk a little bit about what kinds of services that you actually provide. And then my next question is going to be, as a business owner, how do we know, when do we get to a place where it's like, yes, we're ready for Al, or we're too small, we're not yet ready for an Al?
Well, when it comes to, as a business owner, I specialize in technology. Okay. When it comes to accounting, I hire a professional to do that. I will not sit down and try to do my own corporate taxes. It's the same policy, it's the same set of rules I say to any business owner. If technology is not your thing, you definitely need an owl in place. Okay. If you're specializing in, if you're a flower shop, if you're a florist, if you are an accountant, if you are a software developer or anything like that, and cybersecurity or security is not your thing, I always try to tell business owner, let us deal with the technology so that you could focus on growing your company, because we are not, a lot of times business owners see us as expense, but we are an investment. Because if you are having a bad day, I am having a bad day. Okay, whenever there's a breach, when your computer is not working, it's a bad day for me, because if you hire me, it's my responsibility to make sure that your business, your employees are able to work and do their job without any hindrance, so that you could make more money. Your staff and your company could be more productive. So there is no right time or wrong time to say, well, yes, here is a time for me to get someone, whether you're one person, one computer, and you're selling stuff on eBay, or you're selling stuff on, or anything, any form of business, and you don't know technology, you need to hire a company like mine to help you make those technical decisions for you to help your business grow, so you could focus on growing your business.
And then what kinds of technical things do you handle?
So the what we focus on, it's we will help your company from, if it's getting computers, right up to compliance. So there's a very, very wide spectrum. So we handle a lot of things for our clients. So we position ourselves with our clients as the go-to IT person for their company. I have dealt with projects in moving. Some of our clients trust us that much to even order furniture and so forth and all that for their office space because we know how to lay out the technology, we know how the type of desks that they need. But our main focus is on cybersecurity because cybersecurity is a growing factor today, and small business owners are the ideal targets for hackers. And you may ask why? Because we then hackers know that you do not have the budget to implement enterprise grade security. Two, because of that, you have become the go-to person. If you are breached, you are less likely to report it to the authorities, and they know that you're trying to grow your business and you have more information and you're an easier target. I always, when it comes to things like that, I always like to use the analogy of a mango tree. Like, I love mangoes, okay? And I'm getting up there in age, so I no longer can climb a mango tree and get to a nice ripe mango at the top of the tree. But if I walk up to a mango tree and there's a mango right at the lower branch, I am going to pick it. I'm not going to climb the tree where you'll find the big Enrons, the Chase Banks, and all of these other big corporations at the top. But at the lower branches, we'll find companies like yours right there at the lower branch. So a hacker could walk up to the tree and just pick your company and say, I'm going to go after that company because your information, and truth be told, your information that you have on any of your clients, it costs the same price as any of these companies that may have banked with Chase or with some of these other larger companies. The information costs the same amount on the dark web.
Mm, wow, wow. Okay, and so then when you get hacked and somebody has gotten into your information, what are they doing with this data? I've just always wondered. It's like, okay, so you've got some data. Now what are they doing with it?
Well, they do a lot of things with it. Like I mentioned before, they either put it on the dark web for sale. All right, that's one. The other things that they do, they tend to hold your data at ransom. So you're a young business owner trying to grow, and what they do, they do something called social engineering, where they have studied you, look at your social media, look at how the net worth of your company and so forth, and they will target you. They'll encrypt your data and say, hey, Jennifer, I know you're worth, I'm going to just throw a number out there. You can afford $1,000. So I'm going to encrypt your data and ask you to pay $1,000. Now, since they know that you can afford this, you'll happily pay that just to get your data back. But if they know you
Mm,
cannot afford it, they will not ask for $1 million or $2 million because they know you will just close up your shop and so forth. So the main reason why they do it, most of them why they do it is one, for money, and two, to cause disruption.
mm.
That's the main reasons why.
Wow. And the data that they're after, is it data that is like on your computer's hard drive? Is it data that you're storing in the cloud? Like, which data do we need to be worried about? Like, if we have data, and we do, so that's why I'm asking this question now. I'm like, wait a second. So if I have like data that's on my Google Drive that we share among, for all of our clients, if somebody went in and got that data, we would be up shit creek as a company because that's all of our clients' data. Now, it's not credit card numbers or social security numbers or anything really sensitive like that. And guys, think about this for a second. Like, who are you having do your tax returns? If your accountant isn't paying attention to cybersecurity and they've got your social security number and your credit card number and this kind of data, and they're not paying attention to this stuff, this is a question you want to start asking them to make sure that they are. But okay, back to my original question. So we've got data on a Google Drive versus, data that I have stored locally on my hard drive. Like all my presentations are on my hard drive. If they stole that, I would probably pay to get that back just because there was so much time and effort involved and I couldn't really recreate it all because of that. So where is this data that they're hacking into and getting?
Well, the data could be anywhere. It could be on a Google Drive, it could be on your local computer, it could be in the cloud.
Okay.
The
Hmm.
thing is that if the data is not protected, if you are not taking the necessary steps to protect that data, they will take it. they will hold that data for ransom. Like you mentioned, you're not keeping credit card information or anything like that, but the data that they're looking to gather, or they will hold for you, is data that's going to cripple your company. In other words, they want to make certain that you will pay for it. And as a
Hmm.
business owner, we have invested a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of money into creating the data, creating the processes, creating our business. And to lose that in a matter of seconds, we will pay to get that data back, because without that data, our business is, we are closing up shop. Okay, we're out of business. We're
Right.
talking about orders from people. We're talking about um like the information about what we mostly focus on. This is the information that is critical to our company. So as an IT provider, I cannot put a value on your data. Only you can do that. But now someone else comes in, a hacker comes in, a bad actor comes in, and now puts a price on it, and you are willing to pay that. And most times we are willing to pay it because we need it for our daily operation. So it doesn't matter
Yeah.
where the data resides, okay? It doesn't really
Okay.
matter. It doesn't matter. As long as we have the necessary protocols and policies in place to protect that data, to not make it
Yeah.
easily accessible. Whomsoever is accessing that data has permission to access that data. That's the most
Right.
important thing.
Right. And you guys, whoever is, when you're listening to this show today, like I don't know about you, but for me it's really tempting to just be like, I got bigger problems. I don't want to think about all this IT security stuff. But Al, I'm sure you have a lot of stories on people who didn't think about their IT and security, and they probably got into some trouble, and they probably had to call you and be like, "Hey Al, bail me out." So for a small business owner who doesn't pay attention to this, like what is share, I'd love for you to just share a story about maybe one of your clients who like didn't pay attention to this, and like, and what happened when they didn't pay attention to their data security.
Well, one client, I should say, who is a client today that actually comes to mind. It was a gentleman. He's an accountant, and he has been in business for many years. I will not call any names you know for obvious reasons. But when I
Yes.
first spoke with him some years ago, he kept saying that, hey, if the federal government could get hacked, who am I? If the Canolian pipeline company could get hacked, who am I? And in my mind, I'm like, you're an accountant. You have more people's information, more valuable people's information in your thing. You're doing taxes for individuals that actually makes more money than your firm does in an entire year. And you're so he said he doesn't want to take the necessary step. And I said to myself, you would never ever do my tax return. Okay? You will never
Right.
ever do my tax return. But lo and behold, one tax season, he received an email from a bad actor he didn't know, stating, "Hey, are you still doing tax returns?" You respond to the email, "Yes, I'm doing still doing tax return." "Oh, attaches my W-2. Can you tell me how?" So he opened up that, which is a typical. This is the middle of the tax
Right.
season, and
Yep.
the bad actors know exactly when to attack you. Yes, if you're a business owner, you're always looking for new clients, you're always looking for new people, so they send this email over with an attachment, a PDF attachment to matter, so it's expected. So what happened was, he opened up this email, and sure enough, yes, it was a W-2, but lo and behold, unbeknownst to him, it was a fake W-2. What happened in the background is, you call these are called fileless malware. In other words, the file is good, but what happens once you open up that file, it actually went out on the internet and download the payload onto his computer without him knowing. He did not have the necessary security in place, and couple days later, his entire drive got encrypted. He couldn't do taxes. Now he called us in to do the work, to do perform remediation and so forth. Now, because of this, it's not that's to me, that's the worst time to call us in because the data is encrypted. There isn't anything we could do. People's information was stolen. Now it was his responsibility to pay for the ransom and also pay for credit monitoring for all of his companies, for all of his clients. Now, it cost him a whole lot more. And we're not talking about the fees that he had to pay us in order to start the remediation process. But it was an expensive undertaking for him. A few years later, he decided to want to go forward and try to sell his company because there was no way for him to recover from that data breach, unfortunately. So, but he's
Hmm.
still in business today. He's still in business today, but I know he's still looking. He's still looking to sell. He still hasn't recovered as yet.
Oh my gosh, it's so scary, Al, as a business owner to even think that these people, they are out there, they are watching us. They have these, you open an innocent attachment thinking it's part of your business and they can steal all your data. Just like terrifying in my world. Okay, so how do we protect ourselves? How do we protect ourselves from something like this happening?
Well, like I indicated before, the best thing to do, the first thing to start is to put some sort of put security process and policies, internal policies in place. When it comes to security, when it comes to safeguard, there are three safeguards that we need to put in place, and the three of them are it's physical, administrative, and technical. The physical is the easiest part. Okay, so make sure that you something like locking your doors. All right, that's a physical safeguard you could put in place. And when it comes to technology, make sure you have strong passwords. Make sure that your computer has password to access critical information that you don't want anyone and everyone in your company to have access to. You put passwords and so forth on it. So that's just the physical part of it. Laptops, make sure they're always protected. The administrative portion of it is where you sit with with lawyers and or other C-suite individuals to come up with policies in your company. I mentioned before, when it comes to taking someone's credit card information, pick up the phone, give them a call. When it comes to something as wire transfers, do not take wire transfer requests via email. If you do so, a part of that process is to pick up the phone and confirm it with the individual. Do not send emails out with critical information that you weren't expecting. So these are administrative policies that you could put in place. You could design that internally. And the technical portion of it is where you get a company like mine to put in safeguards, technical safeguards like the firewalls and endpoint protection solution that is more that will look at behavior of a computer. Okay, things like I mentioned before with the scenario I gave, the story I gave before with the gentleman who opened up this file. Everyone knows what a PDF file looks like, what a PDF file should do. But a PDF file or any Word document or any file should not go out on the internet and download a file. Okay, it should not. So once you hire or you get a company like mine to complete, we put these type of safeguards in place to see these activities happening. Because once you see you have these three safeguards, those are some of the things that you could put in place to help protect your company: the physical, administrative, and technical.
Love it. It's interesting. One of the new things I've been getting is an email that says I've received an electronic fax. And it's usually like some kind of an invoice or something like, that needs to be paid. So you kind of like think, "Ooh, this is important," but it's from somebody I've never heard of. And I'm like, if you're trying to fax me and I don't know who you are, I'm deleting this. I don't care who you are. If it's legit, tough shit, you're going to have to call me. You're going to have to email me. You're going to have to find me some other way, But I mean, I don't know. Do you see this? Is this a common one with like it's like fax? It's like an automated, you've received an electronic fax and then it has a link and it wants you to like click the link.
Yes, I receive a lot of those, and I will tell you two scenarios, two things that I encounter a lot now. So one, I get emails from American Express, okay? And American Express will send me an email stating, hey, we're having a problem with your account, log into your account. Now, before earlier I said stop and think. Now, all of my banking information goes to a separate email. That email is not public to anyone. Okay. So now when I'm getting an email from American Express on my public email address, I said, wait, no, American Express, you do not have this email address. So right away, I know this is a fake email. So those are one of the policies that I put in place for myself, in that I have a separate email address that I use strictly for banking, and only financial institution has this email address. I don't use it anywhere else. So that's one. Two, the other thing that I also receive, like for example, I received a call from Department of Labor and so forth. They call me on the phone. They want to verify information. And what I say to them when they ask me to verify my address and so forth, I said, well, you're the Department of Labor. You have this information already. Okay. But you have this outstanding. Okay. I hear you. I don't know who you are because you're calling me. Please send it to me in the mail. And these are the processes that I put in place. So I get these emails, I get these phone calls from companies, whether they are legitimate or not. But for me, with my internal policies, I do not give out these information. And one of the other things that I'm seeing a lot of, it's where they use your voice for other things. So I avoid using the word yes when they call. I don't use, is this Alvion Legal? How may I assist you? I don't say yes, this is that, because they will change, they will take that, just that phrase and say, do you agree to pay us X amount of dollars? Yes. No, no, no. So I avoid using these words. So there are, the threat landscape has changed, and a lot of these bad actors have become very, very sophisticated in trying to gain access to our information and so forth. So these are things that we, as business owners, we have to pay attention and be mindful of how we are interacting with the world, and put personal safeguards and even company safeguards in place just to help protect ourselves. It may seem as a daunting, difficult task, making it so difficult for, why do I have to jump through all of these hoops just to get to this? But understand, with your, once your identity is stolen, if we stop and think about it for a second, it is very hard for us to prove to someone that we are who we say we are. Okay, because bad actors are creating more than just credit cards. They're creating IDs, they're creating passports and all of this. And when you look at the federal government, they are adding more and more security to things like your driver's license. Pretty soon we all have to change our driver's license. They're changing our passports, and all of these things, they're making changes because bad actors, hackers, have been able to duplicate these and so forth. Look at even our currency. And we cannot protect ourselves from all breaches, but the only way to do it is to know what the real one looks like. We have to study the real, we have to study the genuine one in order to protect ourselves. So once we put a lot of these policies and procedures in place for ourselves, it helps protect us. And to be honest with you, you cannot put that responsibility in someone else's hands. You cannot put that responsibility in someone else's hands to protect your identity, because they may not care for their own. Right. So we all have to take a part. It's an investment, it's a partnership that we're working on. So when I work with business owners, I sit down and I talk with them. I try to understand what is more important with them. We try to understand what part of the business we need to protect. Like you mentioned, your documents on Google Drive and so forth. What is the most valuable data on Google Drive that you have that's going to take you hours to recreate and you will not want to lose? That data, we protect it. We spend the money on protecting that data. The other documents, well, that's going to take 5 minutes to recreate. That's not a problem. That could stay there. But not to say we want it to be, we want it to be, it's not important, but in terms of if we're under financial constraint, that's the process that we take with another, with a lot of our clients.
Oh, so very informing. Al, it's like I feel terrified and empowered all at the same time. It's like so good. And I'm sure some of you guys listening, when if you think about your data being stolen or getting hacked, I mean, it's really and truly terrifying to think about that could happen to your business. But at the same time, what I'm getting from this, which is so helpful, is like, guys, like be proactive. It's a lot easier and a lot less costly and a lot less time consuming to just, talk to your IT guy, give Al a call, talk to somebody like this, and just find out what you need to do to protect yourself and do it now. Be proactive about it instead of, I'm sure there's people listening who are like, oh, yeah, I remember when I got my data hacked and it was this horrible thing, or it put us out of business and it cost us thousands and thousands of dollars to repair it. Like, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Just do it ahead of time, be proactive, take the steps that you need to take in today's world, especially when, I mean, it really and truly is an online world. Take those steps that you need to take to protect yourself. And I really hope from today's show that you guys will be hearing of like, hey, there are things we can do. It doesn't have to be that costly. You can absolutely protect yourself from these hackers, these bad actors, and not be that guy who like had it all stolen.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, with insurance companies, and you said take a proactive approach with insurance companies, what they, in the event of a data breach, all the insurance company wants to really and truly know is that you have taken the necessary step. They want to hear that you have a good story to tell. They want to know that you had internal policies and processes that you had in place to help protect yourself and so forth, because they all know that you will get breached one day, just like auto insurance. They know that there's a strong possibility you could get into an accident. No one could
Mhm.
prevent every accident from happening. Okay, but they want to know that you have done your due diligence and you're not being irresponsible. So you cannot say, well, I had this data, I knew I had this data, but I didn't do anything to protect that data, and you got breached. They will say, well, you're being irresponsible. Okay. And but what they are looking for is that you have done your very best. You have gotten, you've put policies in place, you have done the physical part of it, you've put strong passwords, all of these set of things in place to help protect the data. But unfortunately, they still happen. Okay, they're looking for that story so that they will say, hey, we'll still give you coverage for that. We will still pay out that coverage for you. For those of you who are homeowners, we all know we there's a fire. If in the event of a fire, disaster, or anything like that, they want to know that you have taken the necessary steps to protect against a fire. You have smoke detectors in place. You have carbon monoxide, all of these different testers in place, and so forth. But to prevent a fire, if there's a fire, they'll say, okay, you have done your best, you've done so we will pay out that policy. So that's just my um, word of advice to anyone out there.
Oh, great, great advice. And you guys, it's not that hard to be proactive to make a phone call. If you already have an IT guy, awesome. If not, give Al a call. I know, Al, one of the things that you do is like a free IT survey where you go in and you take a look and you do a free survey to be able to assess the situation and be able to give, guidance and feedback on wherever you might be, in your business with your specific IT needs.
Yes, yes. So we're not here, my company, we're not here to replace your current IT provider or anything like that, because cybersecurity is a very, very wide and broad spectrum and it's a lot to take on. And I know a lot of IT providers don't like to, they don't take that, is not a passion for them, they will be able to. So we're here to work and to help you augment some of that responsibility. So we do work with current IT providers, and we do offer a free survey, free assessment of your current infrastructure. And we're able to give you pointers of what we have seen, a bad actor has access to, and what they don't have access to. And if so be it, you want to work 100% with us, we're open to that. If you want, it's a 50-50, a 70-30, any way you want to work with us, we're able to work here, because we know, being a IT provider, being a IT solution provider, I know it's a lot of work, and there's parts of the work that I personally don't like. So this is why I hire a team to help me continue doing the work, because there are aspects of the work that I personally don't like. But when we're working with other IT providers, we say to them, hey, we could deal with the security, cybersecurity, and the compliance portion. You deal with the help desk and the computers and all of the other stuff to deal with the network. So we're able to work with any company, anything. If you have concern with your current IT provider and you're not sure that they're doing what they say they're doing, we could also test that out for you also.
Oh, so helpful. And everybody listening to this, the one thing I want to suggest is if you know 100%, I mean 100%, your data, your business is secure, you don't have to do anything. Everybody else, if there's even one smidge of doubt that you're not 100% certain that your data is secure, you have cybersecurity measures in place, that you know your IT person is doing what they say they're doing, for everybody else, I just really want to encourage you, make a phone call, ask the question, just put it on your radar for this year of just something that you want to make sure that you are going to pay attention to, you're going to be proactive about, you're going to start asking the questions to make sure you're 100% secure.
Yes.
Al, in closing, do you want to just share with everybody where they can find you?
Well, you could find me. My website is www.ablcomputers.com. Our telephone number is 718-848-8102. And you could also find me, Alvion Legall, on LinkedIn. So the three places you could find us are 100%. You'll find us on our website. We have all of the information there on our website, www.ablcomputers.com.
Fantastic. Al, thank you so much for being here with me today. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate all the information, especially on a topic that as business owners, when we're so busy, it's like, one of the things that we're just not thinking about, but it's so critical and so crucial to our success. And I don't want to ever hear of a business owner having to go through something so terrible that we could have been proactive on and we could have like, stopped it from happening, when it's such an easy fix to just be proactive about this stuff and be paying attention to it.
Yes. Thank you for having me,
Awesome.
Jennifer. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. All right, you guys, thanks for listening to the show today. Now get out there and have a happy, productive day.